to Bad Larry.
What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Bad Larry Kingdom. I'm your host, Bad Larry, and today we are reviewing the Uncanny X-Men number 242, part 30 in our epic Inferno series. But first, let's rate that cover. This cover by Mark Silvestri only has a few downfalls, being the boring background only including a few of the X-Men and having Beast in the brown and yellow costume when he doesn't wear that costume at all this issue or ever again. I still rate this cover a 95%. It still draws me in, the colors are well done, the action and perception is coming towards the reader. All good things. Now, on to the story. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Ugh, gross, 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 gross. Ew, yuck. The effects of the Inferno energy in the air has caused the X-Men to be different, primal, expressing their animal nature. This energy has affected the Wolverine the most, as he is already quite primal and animalistic. He's just a hairy, horny, feral little shorty. In the last episode, the Goblin Queen's persona basically switched off and reverted back to the Madeline Pryor persona, causing everyone to give pause, unsure of what to do, giving the Wolverine this opportunity to sexually assault Jean Grey, rude, because he just can't control himself. I love the art in these splash pages, and I love how the characters are all named out, allowing new readers to pick up this issue and catch on fairly quickly. Like I said, that kiss was unwanted and unwarranted by Marvel Girl, repels the horny little Canadian back with her telekinesis. But this reaction for Marvel Girl sets off a terrible chain reaction. X-Factor is after Cyclops' son and trying to get him away from Madeline Pryor. Havok has been bamboozled by Madeline Pryor into becoming her lover and her simp, so he blasts away Beast and Iceman as they approach Madeline. Wolverine is in full Diddy mode. Take that, take that, take that! And Archangel has also had enough. I love how he calls the Wolverine Pipsqueak as a dig, because, Wolverine is only 5'3" here. Hilarious. Here we have a crazed, demonically influenced Wolverine with adamantium claws of destruction versus an nearly equally crazed Archangel, still tormented mentally from Apocalypse's transformation, but with equally and possibly deadlier blades of his own. Blades that he can propel at his enemies. Blades that also neutralize the enemy, short-circuiting the nervous system temporarily. Like I said, Wolverine's assault on Marvel Girl set off this chain reaction. Now it is a full-on fight between the X-Men and X-Factor, with the X-Factor team not believing their eyes, under the impression the X-Men were dead, thinking they must be fighting copycats or something. As Archangel dispatches the Wolverine fairly easily I might add, Rogue pulls a Diddy sneak attack from behind and tries to use her power-sucking powers on Archangel. Why is it always with a kiss with her? I guess she's so covered up elsewhere, it is tactically the best option. Either way, she's in for a huge shock. Archangel is too complicated for that hoery and gives her the Heisman bitch back it up to the face, allowing Cyclops to blast her from behind. No diddy. See how you like getting attacked from behind. No diddy. Not fun, is it, Rogue? Iceman has always been a take a breath, everybody kind of guy. He is so immensely powerful, but his personality limits him. Havok does what he does best. Ruins everything, causing a huge flood by destroying Iceman's snow wall. I will say, it is fun seeing the heroes duking it out. Not in full force, but still, it's fun. I don't know why I like Dazzler so much. Her vanity should be off-putting, but the way she calls Havok a dumbass with all her attitude is just funny. These two characters, Longshot and Dazzler, what are you going to do with them, right? Middle of the battle, in freezing water, the lust just overtakes them, heightened by the demonic energies, I guess. Havok has a lot of nerve here, talking about Cyclops breaking his oath to Madeline. Cyclops didn't walk out on Madeline. He just went back to being a superhero. Lots of people have jobs that require travel and long distance relationships. If anything, Madeline walked out on Cyclops. Cyclops even went looking for her all over and couldn't find her, thought she had died. If anything, Havok is in the wrong, double wrong. Committing adultery, one, and two, breaking the unwritten bro code of not banging your bro's wife. Hello? Havok needs to check himself and take a look in the mirror and get off that high horse. He is more of a turd than Cyclops is in this scenario for sure. This is the first time X Factor and the X-Men have seen Noster in his upgraded techno-organic red form, and that delay allows Noster to get the first lick in. Madeline's psyche is hard to pin down. I guess she's just a master manipulator, switching personalities to keep her advantage. She seemed like she went back to normal, average mom personality, but nope. She is still vengeful as ever, sending Jean Grey's demonically transformed parents to attack her, rude and malicious. She puts Cyclops in the old pickle situation. Pick one redhead to save, who's it gonna be? Cyclops obviously makes the right call saving Jean. Madeline was never in real danger, and she is evil as shit, so it wasn't that hard of a choice. Of course, Havok is a huge simp and chooses Madeline over his own brother. X Factor still don't know if they're battling the real X-Men or knockoffs, but they decided to start taking the gloves off, as they were the OG X-Men after all. I seriously doubt the wind speed would actually tear Havok's costume as such, but here he is, looking very sassy next to the Goblin Queen. I guess Madeline gave up on that goody two-shoes shtick and back into her full evil queen persona. Them loincloth scraps are barely doing the job, I will say. I like how Colossus is used in this series. He is often underutilized, in my opinion, but not here. Because of his armored skin, he is virtually immune to the effects of the demonic energies that have affected his X-Men teammates. And with his sister being the rightful ruler to Limbo, he does have a personal dog in this fight. And back to Iceman, the chill prankster, underutilizing his powers to keep things light and fun with a snowball to the back of Longshot's head. I'm having a lot of fun in this issue. Longshot is way out of line here. Iceman wants to have a fun snowball fight and Longshot throws back blades? Not cool, bro. Beast delivers a fastball rock baseball style to Rogue and she hits a homer using an entire tree. This isn't a fight, this is just fun with powers. I do enjoy how the Wolverine is still most affected by the demonic energies shown by his movements and his costume, as he is most animalistic at his base normal personality. I laugh how Longshot wants Cyclops to say uncle like it's a game, and I think Cyclops knows that, which is why it seems like he's being overwhelmed, not blasting his optic blast. But round 2 with the Wolverine and Archangel commences. I'm actually impressed with how Archangel is able to stand his ground 1v1 against an out-of-control Wolverine. Most would just be sliced to pieces by now. Storm is off having a flashback and we see Iceman is in the middle of completely encasing the Empire State Building, the base for Noster and Ice. Later in this issue, Storm gets all high and mighty about being the leader of the X-Men, but where has she been this whole issue? Not taking control of her X-Men, allowing them to battle X-Factor while she's just floating around daydreaming. You can't be all high and mighty about being the leader and not lead, especially in this scenario. Noster knows he can't force the Goblin Queen to do anything and uses manipulation tactics with her, pretending to be so submissive to her just so she will do what he wants her to do, which is build an altar to eventually sacrifice her own son on it, Abraham Isaac style, to build a permanent bridge between Limbo and Earth, allowing the demons to overtake and rule the Earth. With the little telepathy Jean Grey still has, she uses to stay connected with Cyclops' son, and she realizes the Goblin Queen's plan is to kill the little child. All the tomfoolery on the ground needs to stop. Cyclops realizes this, and the mission is to save the baby. The story here gets a little hairy for me. The Goblin Queen was going to sacrifice the baby regardless, but here she gets super rage angry because the baby calls out to Jean for help. I mean, hello, if you know your mom is about to kill you and you can try and save yourself when you do that. Anyway, Goblin Queen gets super pissed about this call for help from the little baby boy, fanning the flames of hatred towards Jean Grey, which was already at a pretty high level of hatred already, allowing the Oster to use this anger to further establish Goblin Queen's psychosis in killing her son for him. Storm finally intervenes and has a lovely little reunion hug with Jean as they both realize they aren't fakes and the real deal. Now, Oster is on a time crunch, though. He needs Goblin Queen to make the sacrifice before the sun comes up, and the X-Men and X-Factor are just delaying that process. Marvel Girl, Storm, Archangel, they all seem to have no effect on the Oster. How are they going to stop him? Luckily, the X-Men have stopped trying to fight with X-Factor, and Rogue comes in clutch, saving both Storm and Marvel Girl, as they were knocked out from Archangel's neural blades. But they can't take too much time off. They need to stop the Oster and save the little baby from the Goblin Queen. I like the theme here. What comes around goes around. Earlier, Rogue tried to use her powers on Archangel and it didn't work. But as the circle comes back around, the Oster tries to use his powers on Rogue to infect her with the techno-organic virus, but she is immune. Ha ha ha! And all it did was weaken him. Colossus finally makes it to the altar location. He is crucial to this whole battle. He tries to talk some sense into the Goblin Queen and to his teammate Havok, but they are too far gone, okay? Havok blasts Colossus, it looks like across the entire city, and luckily Iceman is paying attention and uses his ice light like a matchbox car roller coaster, sending the mass of Colossus into the back of Oster, no diddy. Colossus is organic steel. Steel is made from iron. Iron has a strong effect on demons, especially Naaster. Just a single touch from Colossus does some serious damage to Naaster. So Naaster teleports away like a little bitch. Finally, the X-Men and X-Factor realize they're all cool and they can work together. Well, except the Wolverine. He is still demonic and a liability. Luckily, Rogue has the strength to hold him back. Crazy little rabbit pipsqueak. Cyclops allows Jean Grey a little access to the telepathy she once had, and Jean relishes in it and is saddened when it is gone. Imagine the ability to not be able to, let's say, walk anymore. When you walked your whole life, and then briefly you're able to walk again. Then bang, back to the wheelchair. Well, that's kind of what happened with Marvel Girl. But at least they have a plan in how they can battle the Oster, thanks to Beast's big brain. The plan is simple, but it takes some super teamwork. Marvel Girl lifts Colossus's big ass up in the air, and Cyclops blasts him back up towards the enemy. Storm adds some wind nitro as well, and now Colossus is going supersonic speed. Archangel, now cool with the Wolverine for now, tosses the little pipsqueak and a fastball special as well. Colossus's mass and speed destroys the altar, but is caught up by some demonic leeches that use acid to try and get through the organic steel armor of Colossus. Adamantium claws slice through the back of Naaster while Dazzler frees Colossus from his leech captors. The chaos is controlled, keeping the enemies off balance. Iceman comes in super clutch here. He uses more power than he's ever used before to freeze up the entirety of the Empire State Building and Naaster himself. Naaster underestimates the plan. He thinks he's invulnerable because he's a living demon computer monster. The plan is actually fairly simple. Bring the temperature of Naaster way, 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 way down, well below freezing, while Storm envelops the ice with super heat. So when Dazzler, Cyclops, and Colossus destroy the ice, Naaster is overwhelmed like having the worst brain freeze ever, his computer body being overloaded by the heat at a quantum rate. And you know when things get too hot, especially batteries and electronics, well, they go boom! Just as Kamas. Well, just because Naaster went boom, does that mean he is cooked tunas? He's a gonzo, gone for good? Here's where Storm gets all high and mighty about being the leader of the X-Men. Sure, she came in clutch at the end, but where was she when the two teams were first fighting each other. She was all off by herself, floating around in her head in La La Land. You can't be so indignant about being the leader when you clearly failed to lead in this issue. Anyway, as Cyclops and Storm faff about, which is poor leadership on both their parts, to be honest, not having situational awareness, well, Jean Grey gets lassoed around the neck and snatched up by the Goblin Queen, with her simp Havok just looking on. Ooh, y'all know my favorite character is Cyclops, and this just makes me so sour at Havok for this betrayal. I've seen a lot of custom figures of the Goblin Queen because, to be fair, this costume is not exactly PG-13, but I often see great custom figures like this one, but the outfit is always just all black. Is her outfit black though, or is it dark blue with the shading as black? The all black does not allow her to pop like she does on this page with the blue and black combo. I ultimately rated this issue a 98% A+. It was darn near perfect. I thought just the element where Cyclops and Storm were arguing about leadership at the end didn't work for me totally, being so distracted that allowed the Goblin Queen to snatch up Marvel Girl. But other than that, an A+ issue. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. And stay tuned for the next episode where we travel back to X Factor in issue number 38. Hit that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you real soon. Peace.